I have been tagged by Sahbisun, and so that means that I have to come up with 5 facts about myself, 5 random facts. Well, first of all, thank you for giving me that opportunity to say a little bit about myself. So, I suppose tagging is a game that is a YouTube game that's going around, where you're tagged, you are it. Be careful as you're listening to this thing, because at the end, I intend to revenge. So there are some folks out there that are going to fall victim to my tagging. Fact 1, I'm a South African of Zulu descent. So I come from South Africa. For some of you who don't know where South Africa is, South Africa is in Africa, in the continent of Africa. Africa is not a country, it's a continent. So South Africa is a country. So South Africa is right at the end of the continent, on the southernmost tip of the continent. That is South Africa. Of course, it is the last country. From there you get to the ocean. And South Africa actually borders 2 oceans. That is, on the east side is Indian Ocean, and on the western side or southwestern side is the Atlantic Ocean. And I believe that South Africa has the longest coast in the continent, or at least very close to that. Okay, so that's the country. I say this because a lot of people, particularly in North America, believe that Africa is a country. So whenever I meet people who have been to, I don't know, maybe they've heard about Malawi or Ghana, they will say, "Oh, I was in your country there, but they don't know that Ghana and South Africa are very far from each other. So there's a reason behind this explanation. Okay, so Zulu people are people that live in kind of a northeastern side of South Africa. Majority of them live there. They are the biggest ethnic group in South Africa. South Africa has many languages. We speak about I think the official language. They have 11 official languages. So I speak quite a few of those languages. Anyway, so actually I speak more than half of those languages. So that's where I come from, and that's South Africa. So these beats that I have here, they are Zulu beats. So they basically connect me with the ancestors, the motherland. So they remind me who I am, that sort of stuff. And I think it's important to know who you are. Fact 2, I've always been asked to be a translator, a language translator. I don't know why. Been asked to translate from this language to another. And I've done numerous translations in my life. So I can remember, for example, one of the persons that I actually translated for is currently a cabinet minister in the government of South Africa, in the government of Mr. Thabo Mbeki. This person was also appointed in the cabinet of Mr. Nelson Mandela in 1994. So I was quite honored to see that somebody that I served actually went on to become one of the great people in South Africa. I've also translated for the Vice President of the government of Zimbabwe, Dr. Joshua Nkomo. Check this out. Yeah. And I've also translated for another cabinet minister in Zimbabwe, Mr. Minangagwa. I believe he was a minister of security or intelligence or something like that. Okay, so I've always been asked to do translations at a very young age. And I've always done it. I love languages. Fact 3, I was inducted into the traditional African Society of Women in South Africa, and this is a rare privilege. So I lived in the society, and I was very much influenced by the society. Now, some of you would have seen a lot of these negative TV shows about Africa in general. They show poverty and stuff like that, and they'll also show women carrying heavy buckets of water or heavy sticks of firewood. Well, where I grew up, actually, it is the boys who carried those heavy sticks. It is the boys who fetched the water from the fountain. Right? So we went to the well and fetched the water there. So that's what we did. So and that's the society that I grew up in. And I should point out that actually South Africa is very much a matrilineal society, even though, of course, apartheid was a sexist, patriarchal system, but they still have that, at the grassroots level, a matrilineal system, which explains why South Africa has got almost half of the cabinet ministers are ladies. And the reason why you have that many women in the high leadership of the country has to do with the fact that it has to do with the local culture of that society. So very important. And I believe that South Africa is the only democratic country on the planet that has got so many women in the cabinet. You know, even North America, for example, USA or Canada, they don't have that. Okay, England doesn't have that. So that's something very important. Fact 4: I like to cook. I've always liked to cook. I remember I worked for another very wealthy English woman in South Africa, and basically I was employed as a farm laborer. My job was to milk cows, and for whatever reason she asked me to cook for her, and she found out that actually I was a very good cook. So and then I cooked for her. So I milk cows on the one hand, and I also cooked for her at the same time. I became so good in cooking that at one time actually I would offer cooking lessons to a lot of ladies who would come to me to learn how to, you know, cook chicken or bread or dessert in a certain way, that sort of stuff. So I love cooking. It's interesting that actually even here in North America, in Canada for example, about 2 years ago I was in international cuisine, and I've done a lot of this stuff, and I cooked, I think my cooking was a duck. I cooked a duck, something that a lot of Canadians don't eat. But I tell you, when I put that duck on that table there, and it was still sizzling, you know, and it was spiced. I'm very good. I make my own spices. Or maybe I should point out here that one of my favorite spices is coriander. But on that particular day, there was no coriander. I had run out of coriander. So when I went to the Chinese store to buy coriander, they didn't have coriander, but they did have a green coriander. So I had green coriander, and I put it on the duck there. Oh my God, it was a finger-licking good duck, and it didn't survive long on the table during the international cuisine in Ottawa. So a lot of ladies from India, China, Eastern Europe, in Canada here as well, they just enjoy that. Everybody was asking me, okay, give us the recipe, how did you do this, you know? Then I started saying, maybe I should start charging for this, you know. So, fact 5, I love dry white snow. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but I just love dry white snow. When I came to Canada, there was a lot of snow. I mean, now, of course, in South Africa there's not a lot of snow, but there's another part of South Africa called Qwaqwa, where they have snow every year, and sometimes the temperature there can actually drop to minus 25 degrees. So, and there are some people actually that have been killed by exposure to the cold, because they say, oh, we're going to Africa, they go there with a t-shirt. So, I have seen snow before, but there is not, but I haven't seen that much snow like exists here in Canada, so there's a lot of snow here. Now, there are different kinds of snow. You know, you have wet snow, you have dry snow, you know, you have all kinds of snow. Blizzard snow, for example, stuff like dirty snow, you know, all kinds of snow. But the one that I really love is a dry snow. And that's the one that's being blown by the wind. And I just love it. I think it's the greatest thing, it's the coolest thing. It's fresh, it's white, it's pure, and it is great. So I just love that. Okay. So good people, here it comes. I warned you that I was going to revenge. So I've got 11 people that I'm going to tag. So as I call each name, please forgive me if I mispronounce the name. So I'm going to do my best. Number 1, NY Zulu. Number 2, Mfunza. Number 3, Joe Felice. Number 4, Chic Your Booty. Number 5, Mario Pizzolon. Number 6, Lion Zion. Number 7, Chris Paris. Number 8, RGB Street Scholar. Number 9, Zenith TV 87. Number 10, Native of Africa. Number 11, H Round Tree.